everyone, it's Sharona from Pay or Wait, and today we're going to be reviewing Big Little Lies Season 2, Episode 5, Kill Me. And right now, after this lackluster episode, I'm saying just kill me right now because I don't understand. Like, we started, like, up here, and then each episode, we just getting, I don't understand what's happening. You shorten this episodes, and at this point, I can't even blame you for shortening this episodes because it seems that most of these episodes have been filler really since episode 2, maybe 3. And so I just don't know how I necessarily feel about it, but let's just go ahead. The episode opens up. Nathan, y'all, do you not have anything? I'm convinced that because Nathan annoys me so much, it's not even Nathan's fault. To me, it feels as though that from a writing standpoint, that they just don't know what to do with Nathan. He's barely in Bonnie's storyline of like being a good husband and, you know, taking care of her, dealing with what's happening with her mother, and then how she was acting in the beginning of the season. And now he's really just here to annoy the hell out of Ed because Nathan tried to apologize to Ed about what happened at Bella's party, and he was just like, dude, I just don't like you, and it's okay. It's okay for people not to like you. We could be cordial. It doesn't have to be this big thing. It's okay. I just don't understand why you always feel the need to come and bother me. And I was like, you know what, Ed? I feel the same way. Nathan, you and Ed don't need to be best friends. You guys can be cordial because you guys have to both raise Abigail. But outside of that, I don't even understand why you're so gung-ho on winning Ed's acceptance. I just don't understand. But I really hope from a writing standpoint that they give Nathan something a little bit more to do. Because at this point, it really feels as though the Nathan's character isn't needed. And I think that they can do so much with Nathan, especially with Madeline, throughout the course of these past few episodes of her trying to figure out, you know, what happened would led her to cheat on her husband, Ed. And you see that as her, Ed and Madeline, she just decides to go to this, like, retreat. She convinces Ed to go. They didn't like it too much. And so, you know, Ed is just like, I can't trust you. And, you know, it makes sense because when we were on our first date, it felt like I was on a job interview and I knew I wasn't applying to be your soulmate because you thought that you had that with Nathan, but Nathan broke you. And so I think it would be more interesting for Madeline to kind of understand what went wrong in her and Nathan's marriage, for her to understand what happened between her and Ed and how that kind of correlates between one another. And so I don't know if Nathan actually knows what happened, knows that Madeline actually cheated or not, or if he's just being annoying because he really just wants everyone to like him. But I want to see them do something more with his character. But we see that, you know, Nathan is still really struggling. I mean, Ed is really struggling. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to be with her, but he doesn't. He feels like he's going to be a schmuck. Like, just like, okay, she cheated on me and I went back to her. And I knew from the beginning that I was what looked right to her on paper, but there wasn't, you know, like that chemistry, that fire, that desire to make her, you know, want me outside of just being a good husband, a good father, kind of like how she was saying, but that's not giving anything extra. It's just like, oh, he's this good person and I know that he is the best person like for the job, but not necessarily the person that I feel connected to. And so we see that she's still having these thoughts about the man that she slept with, and so you can tell that that passion is there for him, but that's still not translating to her actual husband. And it's funny when Abigail and her are walking, she's kind of talking to her about it. You can tell that Madeline really isn't that enthused to be with Ed, but she doesn't want to be deemed a failure again, to have another failed marriage. And at this point, they do have a child together. So it just seems that she's staying with Ed really to keep her family together, but not because she really, really wants to stay with him, because I don't really believe that. I don't know if you guys see something different, if you feel that Madeline is really in love with him, she really wants to be with him, she really wants to make this work. She's telling him that, hey, I want to be faithful to you, I want to be with you, but it's just like, it just feels lackluster. I just don't feel it. And now I'm starting to understand why Ed has been reacting the way that he has, because he sees that and he loves her, he wants to be with her, he's attracted to her in that way. but he knows that she doesn't see him in the same way or reciprocate the same type of feelings that he has for his wife. And so I can see why there's such a struggle for him that's going on. Now, we went to the end of the episode. Was that real? We saw, now I told y'all that she was going to be coming for Ed. I told you guys when she was in the grocery store and she was showing her little boobs and stuff to him. And I was just like, oh, she going to try to sleep with him and I think he going to fall for her. And she was like filling up on him, bought them 2 shots at the bar. And then we see him looking at her and she looking at him. And then her husband over there, I said, excuse me? Like, are they not together? And was she just doing that to like make her husband feel her ex-husband feel a certain type of way? I don't know. Was it real? Did it happen? I don't know. The last like 60 seconds of this whole episode, I was just like, what just happened? Was I drunk? Was I hot? What happened? Because I'm so confused as to what's going on. But can we talk about the biggest problem that I have with tonight's episode, okay? Now, you guys all know when they first announced Meryl Streep, everybody was happy. But you want to know what really got people excited? What got everyone excited was the picture of Madeline throwing the ice cream at Mary Louise. That is what we're here for. That's the whole reason that I'm watching season 2 right now, is to see that scene, okay? And from all the shade that has been thrown amongst both of these women, when we finally get to that point, when Abigail and Madeline are having a talk, they run into Mary Louise, and then Madeline says she's going to give Mary Louise a piece of her mind. And I didn't know if Mary Louise trying to be shady. She's like, oh, you're the one that's off to college. Like, bitch, you know that girl ain't going to college. You just being shady all over again. And so she was just like, she started going off on her. And Mary Louise was like, protecting my energy. I'm just walking away. And then when she walked away, I thought she was finna throw the ice cream. And it didn't happen. It cut. I said, sir, excuse me, pause. What do you mean? That's the only reason we've been here. The one scene that we wanted to see. You tricked us. You bamboozled us. Big Little Lies, biggest lie. The scene not there. I had an issue with that. That really made me mad. I'm still mad. Honestly, if that scene would have happened, it would have saved the whole episode for me, because that's what I've been waiting to see this entire time. But did you give it to me? No. You left me hanging. I don't understand why. I need you guys to like put that scene up, post it to your Instagram, post it to Twitter, post it to somewhere to let us see what that scene was supposed to look like, because we deserve it and you owe us. That really pissed me off, y'all. That had me so mad. But I digress. Whatever. So let me go to, actually, we're going to go to Bonnie next. Bonnie having these same flashbacks with her mother that they're not going to explain to us. So essentially, her mom is still sick. She's in the hospital. She had a stroke. You see that her and her dad are there day and night. It seems like her and her dad, they just have an estranged relationship. After he said, like, what did you do? And, you know, it just seems like their whole energy, their whole vibe is off. And so we see that Nathan brings Sky to come visit, you know, her mom and her grandmother. And so then we see that Bonnie's still having these flashbacks that she's taking care of her mom. And then when her dad comes to see her to tell her, like, hey, you know, she said her first word. She said that you're drowning. And then he talks about how we need to get her out of the hospital. It's not good for her. And then she was like, look at you actually getting involved. And he was just like, excuse me. And so we can tell that this is kind of backhanded, because I've been wondering why they've been doing the flashbacks. Like, where was her dad during all of this? Like, her mom was just beating on her or, you know, abusing her, and her dad had nothing to say about it. And so basically he says that he was trying to keep the peace. You know, he thought that he was helping. And she was like, you know what? You didn't protect me. Like, I was your child. Like, how could you let these things happen? You didn't protect me at all. And so basically he's trying to figure out like what's going on with her. And so really there's nothing else that really comes out of that conversation. I think they're really just trying to showcase that the tension is not just with her mom, it's between her mother and father. And anyone will wonder, like, what did he do to kind of diffuse the situation? Or he thought that he was trying to keep the peace, but really that just allows the behavior to continue to happen. So you can understand why their relationship is just as broken as her relationship with her mother is. But I just need a little bit more. I mean, I can't keep watching the same flashbacks. I've been doing this for like 2, 3, 4 episodes at this point. We only have 2 episodes left. And I don't understand why they're not doing more with the storyline. It got off to a great start, and it's kind of just starting to go downhill after that. But we see when her mom wakes up while Bonnie is there, she basically asks Bonnie, like, kill me. And so that's the title of this week's episode, Kill Me. And so I don't know if she just doesn't want to be in the state that she's in now that she's had the stroke, or what is happening, or if these are thoughts that she said to her child before. We don't really know. They haven't gone that much deeper into it than what we've been seeing these past couple of episodes. But at this point, it's only 2 episodes left, so I don't know what you guys are about to do at this point. I'm really disappointed, like, with how they've treated Bonnie's character over these past 2 seasons. I thought that once her mother arrived that we were going to actually start getting somewhere, but I really haven't seen that much yet, and I really want them to give Bonnie more to do, because really it's just become her mother's storyline and not necessarily all about Bonnie. But we see in next week's episode, it seemed like Bonnie gonna crack, y'all. We knew she was gonna be the easiest one to get to, so we'll have to see what happens. But in the meantime, let's talk about my girl Renata. So Renata's still going through it, and she's talking to Celeste about Mary Louise. And then Mary Louise says, like, Renata's like, let me talk to Mary Louise. Let me see what she all about, what she talking about. And so essentially she ends up going to invite her over for tea. And so it doesn't go well. Like, we knew it wasn't going to go, when Mary Louise is kind of just like, what happened to people just inviting people to enjoy their company, not to have hidden agendas? Because obviously Renata's hidden agenda is to talk to Mary Louise about the custody battle that she has going on with Celeste. And then Mary Louise kind of gets in Renata's head, but talks about, like, you're a working mother, you know, you miss out on all these functions, you miss out on all these things that's happening in your child's life, which then preempts Renata to basically have a mother-daughter day where she's hanging out with her daughter. But I thought it's funny when Amabella is basically like, you're just doing this because we're like broke? And she was like, honey, like, life isn't about money. And then she was just like, well, it is, but it isn't. And I was like, Renata, girl, get it together. But I just love her this season. We see that she has like a breakdown because they decided not to include her in the Women of Power issue, given the current situation with the bankruptcy that she's having. And it's so interesting to see Renata is not necessarily upset about what's happening with Gordon. She's more upset that she's worked so hard to get to where she is, to be powerful, to have money, to take care of her family, and that she couldn't see something like this coming. She's been able to take down all of her enemies before, but her greatest enemy was her husband, you know, at home. And it seems that she loves her husband because she still talks to him, because I don't think I could even be under the same house, like under the same roof as him. I would have had to fight him. But it's interesting to see kind of how she does realize that there are shortcomings to being a working mother, being a powerful CEO as she has been, and she's kind of trying to spend more of that time with her daughter, really help ease not only herself but her daughter into this transition, because they are going to start getting rid of most of their stuff. You saw Mary Louise like, you got this big house, where all your furniture at? And I was like, girl, you so shady. But I love Renata this season. I love to see where her character is going. I just wish they would also show some of the emotional aspects, because it has to be a lot to take on, you know, as a mother, as a wife, but also too as a businesswoman at the same time. And I wish they would show kind of all of these different layers, because we see that Gordon was saying in the previous couple of episodes, something happened to you, but we don't necessarily know what that is. And we really haven't taken the time to deep dive into Renata's past to see what that episode was that kind of changed her and put her down this new trajectory. And I want to see them do that from a writing standpoint as well with her character. But we had to mainly talk about, we could talk about Jane. We'll talk about Jane. There's this big revelation between Jane, Corey, and Bonnie. But Jane is basically another person who I need them to do more. Really, I just need them to do more with everyone's storylines outside of, they do enough with Madeline, Mary Louise, and Celeste. But Jane is another one. She had a lot to do the first season as she's trying to, you know, overcome this trauma. And they're showing that now in her relationship with Corey. We see that her and Corey are having fun. And then she kisses Corey because we saw that he tried to kiss her. She backed away. And she's having a hard time of dealing with intimacy, becoming close, trusting someone else after this last person she trusted basically raped her, you know. And so we see that she's kissing him and she asks him, like, please touch me, but she's having a breakdown at the same time. And I find it interesting because we know that Celeste, Jane, and the boys and Corey, you know, they all take a day because the kids get suspended. And so they take a day, and it's interesting to see that Jane is talking to Celeste and just like, I find it so crazy that you were able to still have sex, you know, in the midst of all of this. Like, I can't even get close to my boyfriend to kiss him, to try to become intimate without breaking down. And so it's interesting to see these two women who are both victims of Perry, but they've handled that in a different way, and to see how Celeste is handling things to how Jane is handling things, and she's so broken. You know, it's very interesting to see how people deal with trauma, you know, the same type of trauma, but in different ways. And I think it's interesting to see how Celeste and Jane's dealings with this is kind of like night and day. Now, the boys get into it. So, long story short, Ziggy was minding his own business. This little boy come up to him and basically says, like, you know you're a mistake, right? And I was like, oh my God, these little kids are so ruthless. Like, they're second graders. Why are y'all talking like this? So then he's like picking on him. And then the brothers come. They're like, he's our brother. What are you saying to our brother? And then long story short, we know the brother, the little bully, got his ass beat, had stitches in his lips. So all the boys got suspended. And so I was just like, you know what, y'all? We should not be condoning violence, okay? But if any of y'all was raised in a household like I was, the number one thing was, if you come home and you let somebody beat you up, I'm beating you with you when you get home. If you let one of your siblings get bullied, you let one of them get beat up and you didn't do nothing, you're getting your ass beat when you get home. So I was just like, I see y'all. Y'all bad as hell, but I see y'all sticking up for y'all brother. I appreciate you. I see you. It ain't right, but it is right. But yeah, I was with them with that. So Celeste is basically going through it, and essentially, you know, they had their little mediation with the judge. The judge kind of laid out how things were going to play out, how this proceeding for custody is going to be handled. So Mary Louise makes a statement basically saying that she doesn't think that Celeste is well, but she still thinks she's a good person. It's not a personal attack against her. She just cares about the well-being and the safety of her grandchildren. And so Celeste's lawyer is quiet. Celeste is so mad because she just like, you didn't say anything. You just let her slander my name. And her lawyer is just like, girl, chill. It's a part of the job, okay? I'm not here to be a bulldog. I'm not here to overtalk people. Judges don't like that. You will understand this is all like for a reason, but you need to make sure that you're not making outbursts or seeming unhinged, because it's the whole basis of their case. So you need to chill out. And so I was just like, yes, Celeste, like, please chill. She up here asking Renata, do you think she's a good attorney? And she was just like, look, she knows what she's doing. And so she talks to the boys and basically tells them that, like, hey, you know, violence isn't an answer. And then he was like, why are you being such a fucking bitch? No, he's like, why are you being such a bitch? I said, ooh, we cursing at our mamas now? We cursing out mamas. That's what we doing. Because I would have got a bit... Ooh, that I wouldn't even been able to get the word bitch out of my mouth because my jaw would have been on the floor. I was just like, wow, like these kids need their ass beat. But she basically tells them about the custody battle. They were just like, you know, should we lie? She's just like, no, you need to tell the truth. You don't have to say you don't like your grandmother, but you know, they said we want to live with you. Just tell them that you want to live with me, because that's you telling the truth. We see that Mary Louise and her attorney, they meet and they offer what I thought was a good deal, that Celeste will have the kids on the weekdays and then Mary Louise will take the kids on the weekends. I was just like, girl, Celeste, who wouldn't be watching their kids every single weekend? You could be living your best life every weekend, Friday to Sunday. Go ahead and let their grandmama take care of them kids. But on the other hand, you did raise a psychopath, so I guess you can't let the kids go with Mary Louise. That wouldn't be right either. And so everyone's telling her, like, hey, this is a good deal. I don't know why you tripping, but she was just like, hell no, I ain't doing this. Yelling at her lawyer, you were silent again. And she was just like, girl, please chill. Also, I thought it was a good deal, but if you want this to go to trial, please know that everything is going to come up. Oh, and also too, they wanted her to go get rehab, like seek help for her drug and alcohol addiction, which I was like, she's talking to a therapist, so technically she's already doing it, it's just not helping. But, you know, she tells her that everything about your husband's death will also be fair game at this point. Kind of like almost as if Mary Louise planned this perfectly to do this in order to find out the truth about her son. And so this prompts Celeste to have a meeting with the ladies, but they all start freaking out about, you know, perjuring themselves because they are listed as witnesses to testify in the custody battle. And so basically they decide they're going to stick together because that's what they've been doing thus far, and you know, that's what's going to work. But what I find so interesting about this episode is the kids. So Amabella is very she knows what's happening with her mother Renata, with the whole bankruptcy thing. But when the little boys tell their mom, when the twins tell their mom, like, we'll protect you, I just felt that. And then she was just like, I don't need protecting. But they can clearly see how broken their mother is, how she's handling her grief. And she tells them, like, mommy's just been handling grief a bad way. And, you know, your grandmother doesn't like that. And she wants to take care of you guys until, you know, I can process it. And so it's even more interesting when Ziggy is talking to Jane after Jane finds out what happens, and he asks her, like, will I be like my father? And it's so crazy how observant that these kids are. Even Abigail talking to her mom, like, you don't like golf, you don't like to do these things. Like, Abigail even knows that her mom don't really mess with Ed like that. And so even to when, you know, Ed and Madeline's child comes up to Ed as he's making her a snack, and she just hugs him because she can see the pain that he's going through. And it's so interesting because these kids are so young and we just look at them like second graders, but they're so very observant to things that are happening in their surroundings around them. They know, you know, that their parents are going through something, but they can't figure out what. I just thought that was something really interesting and thorough. It's not like it really had anything to do with anything. But overall, we do see that at the end of the episode, Bonnie, like, she going to snitch anyway to the police station. But before she can go snitch, she see Corey walking outside the damn door. I said, Lord, Jane cannot catch a break. So is he befriending Jane to, like, help with an investigation? Does he genuinely like Jane? I don't know. But overall, for this episode, I feel let down. You didn't give me my ice cream scene, okay? Nothing really happened. I'm watching the same flashbacks with Bonnie. We don't really learn anything more about her characters. I really don't think that they take the time to develop their characters necessarily. They're doing a great job of developing Celeste, Mary Louise. We really don't know that much about her backstory, though. But also, too, with Madeline, her talking about why she cheated, you know, the issues with her family. But I need them to do a little bit more with showing a more vulnerable side with Renata, with doing more with Bonnie's character that they really haven't done anything with, haven't even done anything with Nathan, her husband. And then also, too, they're doing stuff with Jane, but her storyline, I mean, it's spicy now that Corey was seen coming out of the police station, but I just don't know. I just need them to just do a little bit more. This episode was a letdown. It felt like another filler episode. It wasn't even like a full episode. It was like 40 minutes. And I just don't know. There's 2 more episodes left. And now I'm starting to rethink, like, did we need to do a season 2? I know I said it, but I mean, that's just how I'm honestly feeling. So those are my thoughts on Big Little Lies, season 2, episode 5, Kill Me. As always, my name is Sharona from Pay or Waits. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.